how to start your Pokemon card business. Whether you're doing a rip and ship, sealed, single, slabs, whatever you're doing, you need to have product in order to sell to a customer. Those are the two things you need, right? At the very beginning, you need some sort of product or service to offer a customer, and you need customers to buy. Let's focus on getting product. First and foremost, the way we did it, and if you're trying to start a rip and ship specifically, starting with Japanese, especially in this current market, is going to be your best bet. It's more accessible, it's easier to get, it's easier to find, and you can make still a little bit of margin on it every time you sell the box, a sealed box, or you sell them as packs on your channel. So how do you go about buying Japanese Pokemon cards here in the US? Well, you could do what we did, which was we went on Facebook, we went on Facebook, you search Japanese Pokemon card sellers, and there's multiple Facebook groups with Japanese people, Japanese business owners, buying bulk Japanese Pokemon cards sealed and then shipping it to the US. And on top of that, you got to be careful because yes, there are some scary risks involved when you buy things from overseas and these people you've never met and you're never going to see. But I found specific Facebook groups that have other Facebook groups that vet, and it's customers being able to say, oh, I had a good experience with this person. So you're going to have to do a little bit of due diligence and figure out who you want to work with on those Facebook groups. And you can do the same thing with Instagram. Instagram may be another option. I've not personally used it, neither has the Pokeboys when it came to finding Japanese sellers. We always went through Facebook because at the time that was the best method for me to find them. And what you're going to see is a lot of posts with a lot of pictures of people with Japanese booster boxes, seriously, to the ceiling. Like, people have a ton over there, these business owners. And so you're gonna have to message them, hey, can I get your price list? Hey, I'm new. Don't tell them you're new. I would just say, hey, I'm looking for your price list. Hope to hear back from you. Just something quick. Sometimes the English can be hard. There might be a little bit of an English barrier. So you might need to take a little bit of time to decipher what they're saying, and that is what it is. But if you want to get Japanese product, that's one way to do it. There are other YouTube videos out there telling you how you can do it, getting it directly shipped to you at lower costs. But at the end of the day, like, there's so much more headache, there's so much more work, and they're not taking consideration taxes and stuff and custom fees and all that jazz when it comes to like those other videos. So I don't personally recommend that, but you could go that route and you could just search those other videos if you're looking to get Japanese product directly, from like Japanese Pokemon Center. We don't do that. A lot of people don't do that because it's just too much hassle. And if you're starting out, you don't need hassle. You need to learn. You need to be able to learn. So start there. When you buy stuff overseas, generally speaking, they're going to want to use PayPal, Wise, or I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of the other like international wire transfer service. We use Wise. But at the very beginning, what did we do? We used PayPal goods and services. It's an extra, if I remember correctly, 5% fee that you're going to pay as the buyer in order to buy the services. But if your shipment falls off the boat, it doesn't get to you, if there's some sort of problem, you can put a claim with PayPal and get your money back. Let's say something were to happen, you get scammed or whatever, the seller or the PayPal goods and services will protect you. And that's what we did with our first few sellers. We used PayPal goods and services until we trusted them, and now we only use Wise. Wise will have a little bit of a fee because you're changing from USD to yen, Japanese yen. And yes, there is more risk. You're running a business. There is going to be risk within your business. That's why you can charge for profit. That's why you can charge for the goods and services you do, because you're providing a service, you're providing a product, and you're putting your money up front as a risk on you and the business in order to be able to acquire that product or produce that service. So just keep in mind that there is a risk. There's always a risk. You can't eliminate all risk, but you can help mitigate it through different decisions you make. So that's one way you can get sealed Japanese product for your Pokemon shop. And that's probably going to be one of the cheaper ways to do it, because as you look at the current US market, when it comes to acquiring English, at the very beginning, you're not going to have a distributor. Do not worry about having an English distributor. Stop it. Stop, full stop from the get-go. Do not think that's going to happen. Okay? Do not bank on it. Do not think about it. Like, honestly, don't even put time into thinking about it. Here's why. Because most distributors won't work with online shops, first off. Most distributors will work with local game stores and select, if they change their policies, select online shops. But you need to be able to prove to that distributor that you have a lot of sales and a lot of sales volume. Because they're not going to want to work with you if you're just buying $10, like $100 worth of product. That just doesn't happen. Don't think about distribution at the beginning. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your heartache. Like, so how do you acquire English? You just got to you got to just be scrappy. Like, in this current market and as a business owner, you got to be scrappy, man. There is plenty of shops out there that you could just Google and see if they have good reviews and get some English product at a good rate, and then be able to flip that on the market if you're starting a rip and ship, or flip it on your sealed market, whatever you're going to do. But you got to be scrapped, like, and you got to do your own homework. Like, I'm not going to give you who we work with every single time, but if you have stuff in your own collection, or if you find stuff on the shelf at your local GameStop or something, personally, I have no problem with you buying. Like, I don't give you permission, but just buy it and put it on your shop. Who cares? At the end of the day, it's going to a collector. That is my point of view. If you're buying stuff on the market, open market, and you're buying it for your rip and ship, it's going to go to a collector at the end of the day. It just is. Like, and if you live in Omaha, Nebraska, and your freaking shops are all blank out, there's no English product, but I have English product in my store. Like, that's the beauty of the internet. Like, you're not stuck in Omaha not being able to get English. You can go to these other shops and your shop that you're starting to get these English product. Now, if you're starting a rip and ship, it's going to be difficult. Like, you're going to have to be scrappy, and you might have to pay a little bit more to get English product. The things you want to avoid when English product are the tins as much as possible. I know it's hard, but if you can get a good, like, if you don't want to pay MSRP for like the tins, the collection boxes, because they come with the promos and they come with all the little coins and all the other bull crap that Pokemon and like Target, Best Buy, they're gonna upcharge it to MSRP because technically that promo has value, right? You really want to avoid those as much as you can because they're going to increase your costs. Because at the beginning, you're going to have to pay taxes on that too. You have to calculate that into your cost of goods sold. So not only are you paying extra for these tins and these collection boxes, but on top of the fact that you're paying tax, on top of the fact that you're paying extra for these promos and stuff that you can use as little giveaways, but just to get rid of it, or throw it in the recycle bin. Like, don't throw it in the trash, throw it in the recycle bin. It's cardboard, it's plastic, it's paper. Like, just throw it in the recycle bin if you really don't want it. What you really want to find, if you can, especially if you're looking for English, your best dollar per pack is booster boxes. I understand this current market is crazy. You still have Surging Sparks, which is the last set to have a booster box. Surging Sparks booster box is at $245, $250 right now on open market. But even then, like, if you do the math, 245 divided by 36, I'm driving, can't do it off the top of my head, and then add a little margin on that, like, you could still make good money. Like, you have to understand, like, this is a game of volume, right? This isn't a game of you're selling something really, really expensive to make, a larger volume of profit. This is a volume game in the sense of, if you make $1 per pack, hypothetically, and you sell 10,000 packs in a year, that's $10,000 in profit. It's hard to do that. It's going to take a lot of work, but you could. And then in year 2, you do fit, like, that's just looking at packs, right? That's just breaking that's just breaking the numbers down. You sell one pack, $1 pack profit per pack, which is not crazy in my mind, especially with English product, which is not crazy in my mind, especially with the way English product is. Put an extra $1 per pack for your profit, which is normal for rip and ships, by the way, if that's what you're going for. It's normal to add because you got to pay for the top loaders, you got to pay for the shipping materials, you got to pay for, and yes, penny sleeves. Oh no, you're paying in penny sleeves. They're literally pennies. Yes, but that crap adds up, especially as you grow, as you get bigger. Your shipping costs, your shipping supply costs are going to go up. It's just going to just keep expounding. It's crazy, especially at the level that we're at now. I mean, we've done 60K revenue the first 2 months of this year, which is crazy for us, right? And we're very, very humbled by it. But looking at the numbers, it's going to increase your costs. So if you can find booster boxes, booster bundles are good too because it's 6 packs and there's absolutely no crap in it. It's just the 6 packs. Those are good dollar value as well. ETBs, I would sell personally as whole. If you can find ETBs, sell them as a whole and ship them as a whole. Because it comes with a promo, which has value to it technically, and people are gonna want to open ETBs as well on your rip and ship. They will. They'll like them. People do. Sometimes they might sit a little longer than packs because they're a little bit more expensive, but it's offering different products to your customer. If you can find them at the end, find them for cheap. You just got to be careful because you have to find certain shipping boxes, right? That will support an ETB, which is the box that we buy is an 8x8x4. And then for our smaller shipping boxes, when it comes to the rip and ship, like if someone buys a booster box or 2 of Japanese, you can fit 2 or 3 of those into like a poly bag. And then you're going to need a 6x4x3. That's what we use, but you can use whatever you want. If you're doing just sealed, you're gonna have to find certain boxes that fit your sealed Japanese booster boxes or English. If you have the funds, I would recommend, and you know you're gonna do a rip and ship and you're gonna be able to sell these on your shop or whatever, trying to pre-order as early as you can has seen benefits to us when it came to pre-ordering English. There are plenty of stores out there with good reviews, and if you're sketched out about a store or you're like, hey, does this store have good reviews? Literally just use Reddit. There are plenty of Reddit pages about most Pokemon online sellers. Like, people have had bad experiences, good experiences, and do your own due diligence. Take a little bit of time before you get scammed. It takes 5 minutes for you to look through all the little Reddit pages about XYZ card shop before you spend your hard-earned money and your business's money in order to buy that. People will be very honest and upset when they provide bad feedback or good feedback. It goes both ways. Before Surging Sparks happened, it was easy to pre-order booster boxes at like $100, $110. It was easy to pre-order ETBs at like $35, $40, and then sell them for MSRP at $55. That is a great profit margin for you. Nowadays, though, not only is it difficult to find product, but if you can get into a pre-order, I recommend it. Especially on some of these shops but it's hard. It's very difficult to find shops that are still selling at MSRP. Everyone's selling at market, and I get it, I understand, but at the end of the day, it's going to be difficult to find English. That's why I recommend you start with Japanese. Japanese is becoming more and more popular here in the US because there's no freaking English to buy. I mean, in the last 2 months, the local card shop that last year only bought 3 or 4 boxes of Japanese 151 from us. This year alone, he's bought over 100 boxes at this point. Because people want to open packs. They want to have fun. They love having fun opening Pokemon cards. And if there's no English product at a good, decent price, they're going to want to open Japanese. Although it's going to cost you more in order to dip your toes into the Japanese Pokemon market, but there is an audience out there looking for it. So if you're one of the people who can offer good rates at Japanese product, then by all means, that seems like to be the best way to be able to get easy product and product that people actually want to buy. And look, if you're trying to get into the singles or slabs game, you got to be even more scrappy because the singles and slabs market, it shifts pretty quickly, especially for these modern sets. For example, I had the PSA 10 Bubble Mew up until this last weekend. Last year in September, when I submitted to the PSA, the raw card value was only $85 and the PSA 10 value was $200. By the end of October, early November, when I got my card back, the the raw value was over $200 and the PSA 10 value was $600-$700. By the end of the year, the PSA 10 value was up to $1,000. That is just on one card. And yes, it's one of the top hits in one of the sets, but at the time it wasn't the top hit. Paldean Fates, the top hit was the shiny black Charizard. That was the top hit for a long time until the Bubble Mew popped off. That is just one example of one card that's just popped. Like, you got to just be careful. And look, and over the last month, beginning of January 2025, it was over a K. And by this last weekend, the beginning of March, it was at $900 in value last sold. So like, getting into the singles game early on, you got to be scrappy. You got to move quick. And you just got to be a little bit more careful. And you got to know you're going to be able to offload some of these cards quickly because the market can shift on you. I mean, losing $100 in value in over 2 months is a lot on one card, especially a PSA 10 graded card that's in high demand. And I was able to leverage it because I felt like at the time, this was the best moment for me to leverage this. It's going to keep going down, in my opinion. It doesn't seem like it's going up, right? The trajectory of it the last 2 months has been down, 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 is not steadied out. And you're seeing that a lot right now in early 2025 with a lot of illustration rares from different Scarlet Violet sets. The illustration rares are popping off all over the place. And it seems kind of at random. And everyone keeps saying, oh, it's market manipulation, blah, 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 blah. Guys, it's just people looking throughout these old sets and saying, okay, I can't buy cards. I'm going to buy singles. Oh, I like this single. You can look at it. It's not just pump and dumps. It's not just people offloading them all at the same time. Like, there's people out there that have leveraged their money, bought these cards, waited for them to go up in value, and these are different steps of being able to sell them. Like, if someone had 100 of a specific IR and not a lot of people sold, but then all of a sudden there's an increased demand, you throw 10 on the market, those 10 sell, okay, well then you can throw another 10 at a higher value because it's just supply demand dynamics. And everyone keeps pumping up this, it's all market manipulation, ah! I genuinely, oh my gosh. I genuinely don't think people truly understand the magnitude of the demand in the market right now. And so if you're in the illustration rare singles or slab market, you just got to be a little bit more scrappy and a little bit more dedicated on a daily basis because these cards change in value all the time. And sometimes out of nowhere. Like, and at the moment, early March 2025, some of the card values are coming back down. Like, 2 weeks ago, in the middle of February, a Drowsy IR from, was it Scarlet Violet base, popped off up to $60, $70 in value. And now it's back down to the mid 50s within 2 weeks. See, you're gonna have those kind of fluctuations in the singles market. So it's a little bit scarier game in that, and one that I don't have the time or the willingness to go through to be able to track all these cards, track every IR and see where it's gonna go up. Because that is a velocity game, in my opinion. Granted, I don't sell a lot of singles, but just looking at all the data, looking at all the research I've done on all the Pokemon market videos I watch, it seems like either you grab a bunch and you hold and hope they go up, you know, make an educated guess on which one's going to pop off, because you can kind of tell, right? What cards tend to do better as singles? Cards with highly desirable Pokemon, think of Charizards, Pikachus, Mews, Mewtwo's, Greninja. Like, these cards tend to do better. The ones that have really good artwork too, people genuinely like the artwork. These are little works of art on their own. Generally ones that are unique, like the Bubble Mew from Paldean Fates, like that is a very unique card. You don't really see that out of any of the SIRs released in the Scarlet Violet era in that kind of art style. Or ones that have specific like nicknames like the Bubble Mew or Moonbreon or Sunbreon from Prismatic Evolutions. Like, if they tend to have a nickname, that's probably going to be more in value. So if you're trying to start a singles, if you're trying to start a singles online business, you can also start with your own collection. How bad do you want to start the business? And if you already have a bunch of IRs and stuff laying around, sell them, try to make $1 or $2 here and there. But over time, those gains add up. It goes back to like the pack analogy. If you start making money here and there, like over time, it's going to add up. It just is. It's the law of big numbers. The more times and the more at-bats you have, as more opportunities you put yourself in front of, you're gonna have more potential of making more money. Like I said, if you sell 1,000 packs and make $1 on each pack, that's $10,000 in profit. Granted, you got taxes and all that jazz, but still, like, the math, like, it's the law of big numbers. The more opportunity, the more times you put yourself out there, you're going to have more chances of succeeding. And look, how much money do you need to start a Pokemon rip and ship or a Pokemon sealed business? It could literally be zero. Start with the collection that you have. Or, in my opinion, start with maybe like a few $100s or less. We literally started our business with 3 Japanese 151 booster boxes. And guess what? We lost $4 on our first sale. You can chalk that up as a failure, but I don't. It's just, one, it's only $4, but two, we learned a lot. We learned a lot how eBay works. We learned a lot how the market works. We learned a lot in that, just in general. So you're going to fail in this business. It's going to be hard, but you can't let failure be. Look, failure is inevitable, but learning from that is optional. You're going to fail in this. You could, someone outside could say, well, you lost money on your first deal, haha, stupid, but we learned a lot. And then the next one we actually made money on, right? And we put a little bit more money into it because, hey, people are actually buying this. And so we lost money, but sure, we bought 4 Japanese booster boxes, and then we sold those and actually made money on it. So like, you don't, and at the time, those Japanese booster boxes, we spent like $400. $400, that's how we started our business, and now we're doing $60K in the first 2 months. And that was over a year ago. So you don't need a ton of money to start this. You need a ton of patience, ton of perseverance, a ton of scrappiness, and ingenuity. You just gotta be scrappy, man, and be patient. Not things are gonna come to you very quickly. They're not gonna come fast. Trying to work with these Japanese sellers is gonna be hard because they're 18 hours ahead of us, if I remember correctly. Sometimes you're getting up to go to work and they're going to bed. It's kind of crazy with a time frame, but you got to be able to work around that if you really want Japanese product. If you really want English product, sometimes you got to go out and go find it in your car because that's how crazy the market is right now. Are you willing to do that to make your business succeed? Quick recap. Go to Facebook to find Japanese Pokemon cards. Vet the sellers. There's plenty of Facebook groups where you can find vetting the sellers that are actually on there. Okay, don't go around asking people, hey, which one do you use? Da 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 da. They're not going to tell you, and it's just silly. Don't waste your time asking other people where they get who their sellers are. To find English product, again, be scrappy. Search the internet, find shops that sell English. Try to get booster boxes and booster bundles as much as possible because those are your best dollar per pack. And if you can't, try to get what you can. And if you're willing to take smaller margins at the beginning, that's fine because you're going to be patient. You're going to be persevere, right? And that could be your leverage. Hey, I have cheaper English product. I have cheaper Japanese product. In your head, you're making only smaller margins. But at the end of the day, you're in this for the long haul. This is a long game and a volume game. I'm coming up on my job. Hope you found this valuable. Let me know in the comments what you think or what I can improve upon. See ya.